Hello and happy Sunday, everyone. I hope you are having or have had a wonderful weekend. I'm actually filming this on Friday afternoon. I'm having a bit of an early start to the weekend. Well, almost anyway. I do actually have a work Zoom call later today at about 5 o'clock. But I'm taking this afternoon off in between because I want to chat to you about the books that I've been reading this week. Some really good ones, one that's a bit of a dud, but two really good ones. So I want to catch you up with my reading. And I also want to bake a cake this afternoon because I have friends visiting from London next week, and I want to bake a cake and freeze it because I'm not going to have time over the weekend or at the start of next week to bake anything. And I do want to give them some cake as well as lunch while they're here. So I'm going to bake my banana and cherry loaf cake, which I think I've made on YouTube before with you, but I'm going to share it again because it's one of my all-time favorite recipes. My friends who are visiting love this cake as well, actually. I've made it for them before. It's an old cake of my grandmother's on my mum's side, and it's such a favorite of mine. It's a family favorite generally. So I'm going to have a nice afternoon doing a bit of baking and book chat, which I'm very happy about because I've been up since 5:30 this morning. I've been up really early all week, partly because I've joined a writers group where we all sort of meet on Zoom at 5:55 in the mornings. And why I kind of started this was I wanted to really carve out some time for myself to do just a bit of creative writing. Although of course it's turning into also doing some writing for my website and blog and things like that, but that's okay. And I was working on my blog very early this morning, but it's now back online, which I'm really thrilled about. Do check it out. It's mirandasnotebook.com, and there's still a lot of work that needs to be done with it. There's not much content on there right now because I needed to kind of reconfigure some of the blog posts that were already up there that I'd never properly rearranged with the new web design when I moved my website onto another platform 3 years ago. So they were kind of a mess and I just had never dealt with them, and I need to shape those up again. So I'm going to be bringing some old content back onto the blog that isn't there right now, and I'll also be creating new content obviously for it too. So there's a lot that still needs to be done on it, but it's back online. It's been completely redesigned by me, and I'm so delighted with it. And yeah, there'll be other new things coming up over the next few months as well that will appear on the blog that I'll tell you about when they're there, because I'm very excited for all of the changes coming up. But yes, hence the really early morning starts as well that aren't really just devoted much to writing, but in the future they will be more. Right now it's just good for me to have this extra time to work on things because I really do want to start reviewing my books properly in written form as well as just telling you about them on YouTube. But it's just hard for me to find the time like it is for everyone. So this is something I'm working on. But let's get down to my book reviews for the week. So in my last reading vlog, I think I had just started Yellow Face by Rebecca F. Kuang. Now I've finished it, and oh my goodness, was this an intense read. Oh, it definitely does keep you turning the pages. I mean, it's a horrific read in many ways. The main protagonist is a young white woman called June or Juniper, and she is friends, or well, not really friends, she's not really a friend, she's more of a frenemy with another young woman who is a young Asian woman who's a very successful writer. June herself wants to be a writer, but she had a bit of a flop as a debut novelist, and her friend Athena has, in contrast, just sort of rocketed to success. And June is incredibly jealous of this. She's desperate to become a well-known writer herself. And the book begins in a very dramatic way where Athena dies in front of June in this kind of freak accident. And June seizes the opportunity to steal Athena's manuscript and to pass this book off as her own. June is really a psychopath. I mean, it's such a good book in terms of an unreliable narrator, because as you read it, you see her trying to justify her actions to herself and to the reader all the time, and her stories often don't add up at all. Even the lies that she's telling to herself often don't add up, or she'll suddenly become a bit more truthful, but then she'll go back to lying about her motivations, and it's just really brilliantly written. And there's so much in this book as well about the stories we write and who writes those stories and who should write those stories. There's a really good interview actually with Rebecca F. Kuang where she talks about this. I'll link to it because it's free to read. It's a Guardian article, so I'll link to that in the description box if you want to check it out as well. Because I looked up interviews with her after reading this because I really wanted to hear a bit about what the author herself had to say about the publishing industry and about storytelling and about cultural appropriation, because these are all themes that are explored very strongly in this book. It's a real satire in many ways of the publishing industry, but you also feel that it points to a lot of what's true about the industry and what needs to be changed. And so I wanted to look up interviews, and I'll link the one that I found that I really enjoyed, so you can read it too. But yes, on just a superficial level, this is just such an engrossing read, but there's so much depth to it as well. It would be a great book club choice. I mean, there's so much to discuss and explore with this book. It really makes you think. And yeah, it's just a very gripping read. Very intense. Like the characters keep going around in my head even now. And the things that happen in it are just, yeah, really amazing. So definitely one to read though. I highly recommend it. And then the next book that I read was another Celia Fremlin book. You'll remember how much I enjoyed Uncle Paul by her, which Faber just recently reissued. And I bought The Hours Before Dawn by her because I wanted to read more. I thought she was such a great writer. And this one I think came out a while ago, but I picked it up. And I really enjoyed it. This was a very fast read. It's just slim and the print is pretty big. So I was able to read this in a few hours. And it's another one of her real sort of domestic suspense novels. It has this domestic setting. It's about a young woman who is suffering from serious sleep deprivation. She has a new baby who cries all night long. And she has two other young children as well. And the whole sort of burden of domestic chores falls entirely upon her. And what was shocking about reading this actually is how little has changed in many ways, how much is still very relevant to today's world. There was a really good passage that I wanted to share with you. So the young mother is called Louise, and she's married to Mark. And this is his way of helping her in the morning after a truly terrible night that she's had. It was thoughtful of Mark to switch off the alarm so that Louise should have an extra hour's sleep after such a night. It was thoughtful of him too to get his own breakfast and to bring her a cup of tea when he left for work at 8:30. The only trouble was that by 8:30, the girls also should have had their breakfast, should indeed have been almost ready for school, instead of lying peacefully in their beds reading comics. Thus it happened that Louise was able to produce only the thinnest pretense of gratitude for all of these attentions, and as she leapt out of bed and dashed into the girls' room, leaving her tea half slopped into its saucer, she knew very well that Mark's feelings must have been hurt. If only there was more time. Hurting someone's feelings was so often the quickest thing to do, the shortest route from one task to the next. So this is a book very much about women's burdens within the household, how much of household chores and parenting falls upon women. And although obviously things are changing and have changed a lot from when this book first came out in 1958, there is still so much of relevance, like I said, to discussion today. So it was a fascinating read on that level, and I thought it was so well written. All of Louise's emotions, her desperation for sleep, are so well drawn out. But the thriller side of the book comes from the plot line of Louise and Mark have a new lodger who moves in to live with them. And this woman starts to behave in a way that makes Louise very uneasy. And she's not sure if it's her sleep deprivation that is making her imagine things, or if she really does need to be concerned about this woman and whether she does in fact pose a threat to her family. It's really good. I really recommend it, and I'm so glad I read it, and I want to read even more Celia Fremlin now, so I was very pleased with that. And then you remember last week I spoke about how much I loved The Wheel Spins by Ethel Lena White that was recently brought out by the British Library publishers. And I enjoyed that so much, I wanted to read one of hers that I already had but hadn't read yet, The Third Eye. This was republished a while ago by Grey Ladies publishers, and it's still available to buy. But unfortunately, I was disappointed by this one. It's downright bizarre. It started off quite promisingly. I liked the premise at the beginning of the book. It's about a young woman who accepts the post of a games mistress at a boarding school. But when she arrives at the school, she has the disquieting news that the previous games mistress died, apparently frightened to death, within 3 weeks of coming to the school. And she also notices some very strong personalities at this school, and a lot of mysterious happenings. So far, so good. I thought, okay, I'm quite enjoying this quite gothic-y sort of story set in a boarding school that ticks a few boxes for me. But then almost the whole second half of the narrative veers off in this completely different direction, that involves the main character basically trying to escape from interference with two older women. I don't want to say too much in case you want to read it. I don't want to spoil the whole plot, but it just becomes this almost completely different story. She's no longer at the boarding school. This whole second half is taken up with her journey back to school and why certain people want to stop her from getting back to the school. And it just is bizarre. That's the best thing I can say about it. Really melodramatic, very odd. So I was actually disappointed by this one. Mum was reading this as well, and she had similar feelings to me. I think she's read another book by Ethel Lena Turner as well. Ethel Lena White, as well, which I can't remember what it's called, but I'll ask her about that later. And I think she likes her writing a bit more than I do, but she still finds some of it quite strange. So yeah, didn't quite know what to make of this one. Definitely would recommend The Wheel Spins. I mean, I think that has to be her best work out of what I've read so far. Wouldn't really recommend this unless you just really want to give more of her books a try. Anyway, so that's what I've read this week, and I was really pleased to have read all of those books, and I was glad to have 2 really great reads out of those 3 anyway. But now I want to go down and bake this banana cake, so that's ready. And yes, I'll bring you down with me so I can show you the recipe. so the cake is in the oven. I do love that recipe because it's so straightforward and easy to throw together. But it's baking now and I have to let it cool. I'll save a bit for Mum and I to have tomorrow and I'll freeze the rest, I think. But I'm just having a bit of a rest now before my Zoom call later. And I'm trying to decide what I want to read next, because I don't actually have a book going. Well, actually, that's not quite true. I am reading this book. I'm dipping into this one again. I can't remember if I talked about this last year or the year before. I can't remember when it came out, but it's about Jane and William Morris, and there's a real emphasis on Jane Morris in this book and on their homes, on Jane and William Morris's homes, all the different houses they lived in, and her contribution to his business and creativity, which is really interesting because there's not been anywhere near as much written about Jane Morris as there has about William Morris. But I've been looking at this again because I've just been thinking a lot myself about creativity and how that influences how we live and what's important to me in terms of making a happy life. And I've also been thinking a lot about collaboration and creative collaboration in particular. So I've been sort of dipping into this again for inspiration. I've been reading it mainly at night, which is maybe a bit odd, but strangely, sometimes I'm too tired at the moment to read fiction at night just before I go to sleep. But I've been reading this in bed, and somehow I can read this really easily, which is very counterintuitive, isn't it? You would think something non-fiction and a bit dense would just put me to sleep. Whereas in fact, I really enjoy reading it at night, and sometimes I just can't focus on fiction, weirdly. So anyway, I am enjoying reading this one again. It's just so interesting. The only thing I wish is that it had more illustrations. There aren't any colour ones in this one, and they reference a lot of artworks, but they don't have them in here, which is a shame. So I've been pulling out some of my other pre-Raphaelite books, trying to kind of find the artwork referenced and just to get more of an idea, because obviously they mention so many Rossetti paintings as well. And having just been to the exhibition in London back in May, the Rossetti exhibition, a lot of those are kind of in my head. So I think that's why I pulled this out again too. So I'm glad I have that catalogue, because I've been looking at that as well. Anyway, so I am actually kind of reading this one again, but I'm trying to decide what to read next. I could read the All Creatures Great and Small, the Comfort Book Club pick for August. I love this book. I'm so excited to be doing this for the August Comfort Book Club. As you know, we had a break from the Comfort Book Club over June and July, but it's back in August with this book, and I'm excited about it. But I don't think I'll start this quite yet, although I've been reading so many thrillers and just kind of books with rather strange characters or strange happenings that in some ways I'd like a bit of nice and normal, although actually thinking of like Siegfried and Tristan, they're not exactly normal characters in All Creatures Great and Small. But I do love these books, so I mean I might turn to this, but I don't know, I might wait until August to actually start this. Oh, and this reminds me that I have decided on all of the upcoming Comfort Book Club reads through to December. That's all on the new website. I'll put a link so you can go and have a look at the upcoming choices. I've got a new Comfort Book Club webpage. Do go and have a look. If you're wondering what the Comfort Book Club is, then it explains it all there. Also, thank you so much to Comfort Book Club readers who sent me a lovely message about the Comfort Book Club that I could include on the webpage. It was so lovely being able to include little excerpts from what you said about the Comfort Book Club. So do go and have a read of all of those people's comments as well, because they were so lovely to read. Yeah, so I don't know if I'll start this quite yet. And because I'm enjoying a non-fiction read so much, I thought maybe I'll do another non-fiction read. So I could read Thunderclap. I mean, I really do want to read this. So I am really tempted to this. I'm not sure what I'm quite in the mood for at the moment. You know, when you're just having a bit of a hard time deciding what exactly you're in the mood for. So I'm kind of at that stage right now. But I have to decide quickly because I absolutely hate not having something on the go. So I might just start this. I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, we'll see. Anyway, yes, I'm going to have a cup of tea and just get ready for my Zoom call later. So I'll catch up with you either later today or tomorrow morning. Good morning, everyone. So it's the next day now. It's Saturday morning and we're heading off pretty early this morning for York because I want to go to the York Art Gallery. There's a lovely sounding exhibition on there at the moment called Bloom, which features a lot of floral artwork, and you know how much I love my florals. So I've been wanting to get to the art gallery, and today was the best day for us to do that. So I'm really looking forward to it. Sadly, when I first woke up this morning, it was a really bright, lovely, sunny morning, and it's already started to cloud over quite a lot, and it looks pretty windy out there. So that's a shame. I was hoping for a sunny day, but maybe the sun will come out again. At least it'll be a good day to go to an art gallery if it does end up being a bit rainy. And I think we probably will try and get to the little bookshop by York Minster that we love. I've shown that to you before on the vlog. It's got a really nice range of books. They have sort of discounted new books and also secondhand books, so you can often pick up a bargain. Their prices are generally pretty good. There, I think it's called the Minster Gate Bookshop or the Minster Bookshop. It's something like that anyway. And it's right by York Minster, and I always like to nip in there and have a bit of a browse. So I'm looking forward to that as well. I was up bright and early again this morning, 5:30, onto my writers group at 5:55 a.m. I didn't do much creative writing again. I actually worked on some content for the blog. But it was just nice to have that time, honestly, because I do just struggle with getting time to write for the blog, and I really want more time for that. So I'm thankful to be able to do that, and like a little bit of creative writing as well, just for me, which is nice. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I did start Thunderclap just last night. I admit I only read a page or two and then kind of just zonked out. I was really tired last night, Friday, end of a long week. So I didn't get very far in it, but I'll try and read more today because I am excited to read this one. So looking forward to that. But anyway, I want to get off to York before hopefully the traffic gets too bad. Want to get there nice and early so we can get into the art gallery too. So better get going. So we've just got to York.
Yes.
We're going through the museum gardens, which
it's beautiful,
are lovely.
actually, and there are lots of blooms, which is appropriate.
Yes, that's right.
Yes,
the exhibition we're going to.
exactly.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm really looking forward to this.
And happily, it suddenly bucketed down with rain just as we were leaving.
Yeah.
But now I think the sun is starting to come out a little bit.
Well, yes.
Just a bit of
just
watery
a bit of a Marianne,
sunlight.
you know, very watery. I don't know. There's a lot of dark cloud, but maybe it'll
well,
improve.
a big optimistic.
Yes.
We'll see. But anyway, we'll go into the gallery
let's
anyway.
go.
So we're back home. We had a lovely time in York.
We did. It was lovely. And you were right. The sun came out. She was right. And it was actually, I got too warm in my jacket. I started to moan about that.
Well,
it was wonderful, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was really nice.
Yeah.
And we're home. We were going to have a slice of the cherry and banana loaf that I made yesterday.
Your nanny would have been proud of you with that. It's lovely.
Yeah, well, I thought I'd just show you the finished result. But actually, we're still full from our lunch.
We had a very nice lunch. You've discovered the little cafe place that we went to.
It was called The Right Place.
The Right Place,
right
with a
W. Yes.
Yeah.
And it was really nice.
It was.
But we're a bit full now, so I think we'll probably just freeze that actually.
Yeah.
For when our friends come. But the exhibition was really good.
It was very good, wasn't it? We really enjoyed it. In fact, York is, for a small gallery, they have a lot of nice...
Yes, they do. Yes. Yeah, we've seen a few nice things there.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd show you our little shopping haul from the day, which isn't massive, but we did pick up a few nice cards.
We did.
We got some of the cards that went with the exhibition. So I like these oversized ones.
They're rather lovely, aren't they?
Very attractive.
Yeah.
This was our favourite painting, wasn't it?
It was lovely.
It was Charles Guinness, Still Life with Flowers.
I remember in Hampstead, what was the name of the house there?
Fenton House.
Fenton House, yeah. They had a Charles Guinness one that was really lovely too. He's very good.
It was so lovely. Seeing it in person was really special, wasn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately you couldn't film.
No, sadly I couldn't, but I tried to take some pictures to show you. So when I edit this tomorrow morning, I'll see how that turned out. Hopefully I'll be able to give a bit of impression for you anyway. And then we just got a few cards. This is a Vanessa Bell one.
It's really pretty, isn't it?
It's a bit shiny with the plastic, but got those. We got a couple Emily Sutton cards. We thought this one looked a bit autumnal with the horse chestnut.
Yeah, definitely.
And this card is called September Dresser. Another Emily Sutton drawing.
That's so homely but lovely.
Yeah,
it's just got a lovely vibe to it. I love the china she chooses always.
Me too. And then this was a Paul Nash one, which I thought looked very late summer somehow with the pears actually there as well.
Yes.
And then we just got also a pack of cards with those 3 designs on the back. They're more regular size so we can actually send to people. Yeah. So we got those at the art gallery. Yeah. And then we did manage to get to Minster Gate Books.
Yes.
Which was really nice. And
they like that.
Yeah, it's always good for a rummage there.
Yes.
And I did find a bargain. I was really pleased.
Yeah.
Picked up this Rosemary Sutcliffe title. I love her children's books, but I don't have them all. I've just been quite slowly really collecting them.
Yes.
And this one I didn't have, Knight's Fee, and it's only a reprint. But it was only $5.99.
Yeah,
so
it's got the Charles Keeping illustrations through
it does.
Which is
it's
lovely.
Got all the illustrations, and the dust wrapper was in nice shape. So I was really happy with that for that price.
Honey.
Yes, and then we had a really nice little lunch. I would definitely recommend that place. And we picked up a loaf of bread, some sourdough, wasn't it?
Yeah, sourdough.
Yeah, we got some sourdough.
And that actually looked very nice. I think it's seeded, which is nice.
Yeah, well, we had it with our lunch and it was very nice. Yes,
on it.
It's attractive, that design. So we picked up a loaf of sourdough and then we did also pick up a couple of their croissants. For tomorrow morning as a little treat, because I will be editing this video early tomorrow morning when I get up at like probably that's what I'll be doing on Sunday morning. So a croissant, definitely.
A cup of tea and a croissant serves most things, doesn't it? Yeah.
And then when we got back, I saw there was a little parcel. I think I know what this is. And I thought I would just unbox it with you. I've spoken a lot on the channel about how much I like Elizabeth Harbour's ornaments.
Yeah, she's so clever.
Yeah, she does these lovely wooden ornaments for Christmas or Easter or just any time of year. But she also has started doing some what she calls wooden mantelpiece ornaments, which are...
I think they're fabulous, don't you?
Oh, they're gorgeous.
They
I
are.
absolutely love them. And this is a new one that I just ordered from her. So I'm very excited to get it. Absolutely love using these in my photos. I think I've made a bit of a mess of the box, but never mind. Yeah, I think this is it. So unwrap it and show you.
It's always nice to get a new Elizabeth Harbour thing.
It is. Her stuff is so lovely.
Yeah.
So pretty.
Really lovely.
She had a few new ones out, but I went for this one. And it's actually very appropriate considering where we've just been. Because it definitely matches the bloom
It does.
theme, doesn't it? It
does.
fits in well with that.
Yeah.
So, yes, this is one of her traditional wooden mantle ornaments. And this is the grey flower jug. I'll link to it.
It actually
in the
looks
description
very
box.
sort of end of summerish, this one to me.
It does, with the
dahlias and the
dahlias,
chrysanthemums,
yeah.
I think. Yeah.
I thought going into August and then September, this is just perfect.
Isn't that gorgeous?
So pretty.
It wouldn't look out of place on that Emily Sutton September dresser card.
That's so true.
You know,
I know,
it could easily go on
goes
that.
so well. I quite like putting these on my desk upstairs in my bedroom or on the bookcase upstairs in my bedroom as well. I think they're pretty, and it's double-sided, which is really nice.
Yeah.
So I'm absolutely thrilled with that.
Good.
So fun to come home.
It is. It
and
is.
have that in the post. That's lovely. Yes, so I think I'm going to finish this vlog now.
Oh, and it was, you remember you wanted me to say what the name of the Ethelina White
Oh,
book
yes.
was.
What was that?
It was Fear Stalks the Village, which I have read before. And when we were discussing The Third Eye, I said to you, oh, well, yes, that one is a bit odd.
Yeah.
Then I remembered this one. I remembered being very puzzled by the change in sort of, it gets quite sinister and bizarre too.
Yeah.
And I thought, have I remembered that right? So I reread it. No, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's really kind of odd.
Yes, it's very strange.
I think the Will Spins is the one you all want to take
Absolutely.
as a really good one, don't
yes,
you?
that one is really good. I mean,
Yeah.
I thought that was brilliant.
Yeah.
And it was such a tight plot.
It was
too. It was really
amazing.
well done. It was a great train mystery.
Yeah.
So well done. But yeah, the
other
other
ones
one
are
I read is
promising.
odd.
Like this
Yeah,
one
they
started
start
in
out
a
well.
village. It seemed very promising.
Yeah, so did this one
Yeah.
had an interesting premise and it started out well. And I mean, I still kind of enjoyed it.
too. I mean, I've
Like,
read it twice now, so it does tell
Yeah.
I do enjoy it. But it's not Patricia Wentworth.
It's
Miss
just
Silver's
quite
lacking.
it's just quite bizarre.
Yeah.
But it's kind of an interesting period piece.
It is.
To read it.
It is.
So yeah, I was still glad I read it, but it is very
Yeah.
odd. But you read something you loved. You read
I
the
did.
reading list.
I loved
by,
that bit.
I can't remember her name.
I can't remember in the books upstairs. It's
Oh, I'll go get it.
Okay. I'll wait for her. Oh, well done.
Got it.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's the reading list by Sarah Nisha Adams, which I've mentioned on the channel before. I think maybe not last September, but the one before.
Yeah, I think yes.
so. And it was one I would have chosen for the Comfort Book Club, only there is a really tragic death that happens
Yes,
in
we
it.
won't
So,
say too much because
I won't say
I
too much.
absolutely loved it.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good. You should
It
definitely
really
read
is
it.
good, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But be prepared. You need tissues, and it's not one to read on the train or on anything
Yeah,
like
you
that.
sobbed over it.
I
You
sobbed
really
over it.
sobbed.
I mean, it's life affirming, but it's got this. I felt a bit unnecessary death to be in a way.
I don't think I don't. Yeah, it's just we couldn't choose it as a comfort read.
Yeah,
but
we
it
can't
was
have
really.
you all sobbing.
But it's a
Maybe I'm
really
too
good.
soft.
It's a really good book.
It is really
but
good.
it's just
Yeah.
there is a really sad bit in it, but it's all about libraries and books.
Yes,
and it's
everything we
really-
love, and actually the
Yeah.
cooking in it, which is a lot of Indian food.
Yes.
So lovely. I mean, it made you sort of think, oh, I'd like that, and I must try and find a recipe. I mean, it was really delicious.
Yes.
The sort of descriptions in it, food as well, and lovely sense of community in it.
Yes.
Too. I mean, there's so many positives. What
Yeah.
I do want to do is get her next book.
Yes, I think there's one just recently out.
About gardens.
Yeah, about a community garden.
Yeah.
I think so. I'm kind of hopeful because this is in so many ways really a comforting, lovely read. It's just
but no,
for this one reason.
Yeah.
I couldn't choose it for the book club, which is a shame because it's actually really lovely.
But when you looked up and the tears were streaming down my face, and she was like, "See, we can't have that one." Because I was like, "Oh, it's so good, though."
Yeah, I know. But maybe the community garden one won't be as sad. And she's a really good writer.
Very
so
good.
I do
All
want to read
positives
that one.
about the book. It's just that sometimes being the comfort book club, we have to feel that the book won't send you sobbing into a corner like
it's just too it's a bit too tragic. It's just too tragic. Sometimes there are deaths, but this one's just
gentle deaths. I think it was really talked about. There was only ever the odd gentle prepared for deaths in her books. I
didn't think we could do that to you.
No,
but I still really recommend it.
Yes, me too. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
thought it was a great book. Just as I said, not what you. I mean.
No, because I gave it to you and said, "What do you think?" But you just sobbed and sobbed over it.
Obviously, you played softly here, and but yes, I was glad I wasn't on a train. This always happens to me on trains. O. Douglas is my famous one where I just couldn't stop crying. I think a crowd of people were looking at me rather anxious. It's like, it's the book, I'm fine.
But anyway, I'm going to, on that note,
and we better have a cup of tea. Tea and sympathy from here to you.
I'm going to end the vlog now because we actually have to go on for a family Zoom call very soon. And I think we might try and just sit outside for a moment because the sun's come out.
Yes, and now I can hardly poo-poo it after. I was like, oh, it's going to be terrible. Just wait. We had to carry umbrellas and everything. And now, no. You were right. Of course,
it'll probably start pouring down.
No, that's all right now.
Well, thank you so much for watching. And I hope you had a wonderful weekend. Extra big thanks to those of you who pressed the super thanks button on my last video. Really appreciate your support, but of course I appreciate everyone who supports my videos also by watching them, liking them, commenting on them. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next Sunday. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.